What is 5G and why is everyone talking about it? Welcome to M25 Personal Development, a roller coaster for your mind. I'm your host, Daniel B., and let's go on an adventure together. What is 5G? Why is everyone talking about it? Let's find out. 5G versus 4G LTE. What does LTE stand for? It stands for long-term evolution. Evolution. Now the reason it's called evolution is because when these companies were marketing 3G plus a little extra, they were marketing it as 4G, but it wasn't really 4G. So it was a 4G project and they were trying to get there over time. So it's a little misleading with the naming convention. But 5G is insanely fast. Insanely fast. It is 20 times faster than 4G. And we're not even using 4G at its highest potential. At least most of us aren't. So it is using a lot more energy, that is for sure. Four G can transfer information at 1 gigabyte per second, maximum. But 5G can transfer 20 gigabytes per second, maximum. 20. So you go from 1 to 20. 5G is blazing fast until you hit about 300 feet or a tree or any real solid object. That's the biggest problem with 5G. It can't penetrate through. So the problem is we have to have a lot more cell towers spread out, like on poles, on the light poles, or in your home as like your router, or anything else. There's a lot more of them. So you're talking about a lot more of the cell towers we already have, plus all these little boxes that are all emitting this radiation, and we're not 100% sure what it does. So it's kind of concerning that we aren't doing a little bit more testing and research on the effects in biological creatures, because it is starting to be rolled out in major cities and we don't know if it can cause cancer. The thing is, the World Health Organization has come out and said that it is a possible carcinogen that is being emitted from these cell phone towers and using cell phone technology. So if they're saying that about what we currently have, then, and that was written in 2011. So from 2011 to now, we're constantly improving technology, and it's very concerning that the amplification of this broad of spectrum can really do some damage to your DNA and possibly give you cancer cells, or change your cells so that they become cancer. Telecom companies are pushing really hard to be the first in 5G, and it's becoming this contest. Last time I remember something like that happening, it wasn't too long ago, when Samsung was talking about their folding phone, and I saw this before it came out, and I was like, that thing is that screen is never gonna last. Like, I knew just the design of it just wasn't there, right? So, and then look what happened. Samsung wanted to be the first one, and they rushed out their design, and then gave it to all the reviewers, and the reviewers, a huge percentage of them broke the device just because it was fragile and there was a weird layer on top there. They didn't understand, how to use it or how not to pull off the protective layer. But the thing is, they rushed the whole thing, and the side effect was that they recalled all their units, and then they're not going to do this until they can figure out how to do it right. The problem is, we're going full speed ahead with 5G. We haven't done really any testing, and the consequences aren't going to be to recall a cell phone. The consequences are serious health consequences that you can't fix, right? So that is what the bigger problem is. I love technology. I've been working in technology in the IT field for the last 7 years, and I'm all for super fast downloads. That sounds awesome. But the thing is, we're not talking about serious health concerns. And I was just checking out some other videos from mainstream media and the like, and I commented on one of the videos that didn't mention anything health related about 5G. There's all the positives, and I watched my comment get immediately deleted from the comments. And I was just like, why aren't we talking about any health concerns? And I couldn't believe it. And then I started going around online, especially on YouTube, and there's a lot of videos and a lot of people are concerned in the comments about health concerns, which they should be, because this is so new. We don't have any data to say if it's safe or not. And I would like to, err on the side of caution and do further research and testing and really figure out how, what are the potential dangers, if there are any or if they're not. So, but don't believe anything that I say. Go and do your own research. It's everywhere out there. There's a weapon system called the active denial system that's used by the military. And this weapon uses these similar frequencies to generate heat 1/64th of an inch into your skin. And it's basically like getting blasted with a microwave that heats up your skin like a microwave does. And then you want to instinctively flee the area. And they can use it for riot control and things like that. So that's a weapon that was developed years ago. And that uses the same kind of spectrum that we're talking about that 5G is using as well. And it just blows my mind. It's very interesting stuff. But go research this yourself. You will see what I'm talking about. I love technology, but I just want our children and everyone to have a safe life and not increases. I want us all to live the best life possible. That's what this channel is about. So my goal here is to educate people, and I want you guys to do your own research and just look at these things and just see if they make sense to you or not. Maybe there's an issue or maybe there's not, but it's better to be safe than sorry when it comes to stuff like this. It's just, my intuition is telling me that we need to pump the brakes a little bit on this before we start rolling it out everywhere, before it's too late. And then what if they're like, oh yeah, actually it gives you cancer 100 times faster than our other cell towers. Then it's too late, right? What are they going to do then? I'm not sure. This morning on CBS, I saw meteorologists talking about how they're concerned that 5G is going to interfere with some of their sensors on their weather satellites. They're concerned it's going to interfere with the moisture sensor, and they're not going to be able to track how much moisture is in the air. This is a huge problem because if they can't do that, they say that 90% of their forecasting comes from data collected from the satellites, and if that data is inaccurate, the weather report is not going to be correct for anything, and that can mess up a lot of logistics and traveling and the logistics of companies and stuff. People don't really think about it, but you're talking about tons and tons of money. For an example, accurate weather forecasting adds about $13 billion to the U.S. economy every year. But what they're saying is that 5G technology is going to add $274 billion to the US every year. So if you kind of look at the numbers, I can understand why they're really pushing hard for 5G everywhere without doing any testing, because it's all about the money. When it comes down to it, you got to follow the money. The money talks, the money walks. That's what it's about most of the time when it comes to these kind of decisions. So definitely do your research. Don't trust anyone. Do your research. Don't trust me. Do your own research on everything. The FCC declined to comment on this issue, but a group that represents the telecom companies has said that the meteorologists are overblowing the statements, and basically it's not true. It's not going to affect it that much. It's like it's not going to, like, what does that mean? I don't know. There's just so much information. It's such a beautiful thing to see. But definitely look into that. I have a good friend of mine who used to work on cell phone towers, and he said when you're up against one of those cell phone towers, when you're working on it, you can just feel that hum. You can just feel that energy in your body. So the biggest problem about 5G is that you need a lot more of the little towers, so there's a lot more of that energy being dispersed from the towers in electronic magnetic fields. So the more and more and more, it doesn't feel that it's going to have a good outcome for biological creatures in general. Trees stand in the way of this stuff in the cities that they're putting it in. They got to cut down all the trees that are in the way. So that's kind of a big problem too. So we're reducing the trees. The trees and rain actually absorb 5G. So it's almost like the planet is trying to save us from our own craziness. But, I'll let you be the judge of that, I guess. Remember, folks, do your own research. There's so much misinformation everywhere. Just look in multiple places and you got to come to your own conclusion, right? Because there's no one place that's just completely wholesome. So do your own research. That's my biggest piece of advice I can give you for everything. So that's absolutely true. Doing some research for this topic of 5G, I came across this US patent that was filed in 2001, patent numbered US 6506148B2, titled Nervous System Manipulation by Electric Magnetic Fields from Monitors. And I'm going to review the abstract of this because I thought it was interesting, but I'm going to have the link in the description below so you can feel free to check it out yourself. Psychological effects have been observed in a human subject in response to stimulation of the skin with weak electromagnetic fields that are pulsed with certain frequency, near 1/2 or 2.4 hertz, such as to excite a sensory renaissance. Many computer monitors and TV tubes, when displaying pulsing images, emit pulsed electric magnetic fields of sufficient amplitude to cause such excitation. It is therefore possible to manipulate the nervous system of a subject by pulsing images displayed on a nearby computer monitor or TV set. For the latter, the images pulsing may be embedded in the program material, or it may be overlaid by modulating a video stream, either an RF signal or as a video signal. The image displayed on a computer monitor may have been pulsed effectively by a single computer program. For certain monitors, pulsed electromagnetic fields capable of exciting sensory renaissance in nearby subjects may be generated even as the displayed images are pulsed with subliminal intensity. So, definitely interesting. And if you check out this first graph they have, or not graph, but the first image they have here at the bottom of this patent on this first page, I don't know about you, but that picture is highly concerning to me. This person looks basically like they're being programmed. Interesting. All right, and also I just wanted to quickly show you this other patent out of Germany that I stumbled upon. because I thought it was a little interesting. You might want to check this one out as well. Thought transmission unit sends modulated electronic magnetic wave beams to human receiver to influence thoughts and actions without electronic receiver. In the abstract of this one, a thought transmission unit sends a modulated electronic magnetic wave beams over long distance to a human receiver to influence the thoughts, actions, perceptions of the organism with or without their consent, but without them requiring an electronic receiver. Interesting. Other devices or methods to cause a change in the state of consciousness, devices for producing or ending sleep by mechanical, optical, or acoustical means, e.g. for hypnosis. So, very interesting. And the other interesting thing, I thought, this application for a patent was actually withdrawn today, June 5th, according to this site right here. So, I thought that was interesting. Could be nothing, could be something. I've never seen it before and wanted to share. More research and studies need to be conducted before the potential rollout of 5G across the globe. The potential health crises that are associated with 5G are just too great to ignore. If you can, stay in contact with your local government and representatives and talk to them about this issue and see how they feel about it. Show them some of the things that you've found yourself from your own research, and let's figure this stuff out together. I'm all in favor for moving technology forward, but not at the cost of people's lives. So, thank you for watching, and have a great day. Remember, the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. And that's a quote from Martin Rees. We must approach this new technology with caution and respect.